How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper. My goal in this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading when the price is going up or down. Sorry this video is late, it had a bit of a thing that ran over time. Judge in Coinbase case expresses skepticism over SEC's prior S1 approval. So the judge for this case is wondering why they were allowed to file their S1 with the SEC. They're wondering how 2 years later, after getting an S1 after their IPO, that they're being sued for running afoul of securities laws when they're doing exactly what they were signing up to do for their business. She said it's not crazy for Coinbase to think that what they're doing is okay because it is exactly what you let them do when they issued the S1, said the judge. So, onto the charge, there's not really any other news. So, SEC is getting a little bit more backlash even after their Ripple loss. So for our total market cap, we are testing our support level. If we break through this, we could see some further downside. Momentum starting to curl over. We have a red dot. RSI and our stochastic are starting to head bearish. Our RSI is a little shaky, wants to go up, but overall is trending down. Our money flow did make a bounce off that neutral line, so we do have bullish money flow still. However, watch out if we get rejected here, as we're not really seeing much success getting over this 3 or 4 zone. Our VWAP is in the bearish territory, so if that continues to fall, it is likely to drag everything else lower. For Bitcoin dominance, we are getting a little bit of a round here, so we could see a little bit of a cup or a handle, or some kind of double bottom, some kind of bottoming pattern, if we do make a rounding bottom here. Our size is going pretty flat, our money flow is pretty flat, but we are maintaining bullish momentum. Our stochastic is pretty flat, is pretty beat down, so if that doesn't start to recover, our RSI is likely to start to lose some strength. Our VWAP looks like it's about to start to roll over under this neutral, so watch out if it doesn't break through with some strength. Our momentum wants to make it curl up, but if that VWAP gets rejected, our momentum's likely to strain out. Over on our futures, we are still within this flag, kind of toward the bottom part of it. Our RSI is falling with a red dot. Our momentum is getting a bearish divergence. We have a red dot here pushing us lower as our VWAP is in the bearish territory and pushing pretty strongly. Our money flow is still in the bearish territory, so we're not very strong. Our stochastic is under that neutral line, so we have bearish momentum on our stochastic. So if that doesn't reverse, our RSI is likely to continue to fall from here. Over on Bitcoin, we got a little bit of a green candle, nothing too strong. RSI is pretty flat. Our stochastic is falling. Our momentum has a bearish divergence here. Our money flow wants to give a bit of a push up, but we're struggling to get past this 9 zone, so we'll have to see if we can push higher or not. If we roll over, we could see some further downside, and this could be like one jagged double top. Our VWAP is trying to recover, but it's not going very strongly, so if we do start to round back under, everything else could start to fall under. We'll have to see how these lower time frames look. The 4 hour, we kind of have that bear flag going on here, so nothing too good. Our stochastic's trying to pump, RSI is just dragging out. So if our stochastic manages to hold above this bullish, that could help propel us forward. Our money flow did make a bounce off that neutral, so that is good for us. And our VWAP is trying to break through that neutral, but not very strongly. So if we push down and make a new low on the VWAP, we could see some further downside. Our momentum has a red dot and is pushing lower, so we could see our momentum fall out from us if we don't get that VWAP to cross over. Over on the 2 hour, our stochastic wants to make a bounce up and wants to make a bullish cross, so we'll have to see if that can confirm. Our RSI wants to head upwards, so we are trying to get some push up. If we can continue upwards, we could see some further upside. Our money flow is making a somewhat bounce off that neutral line, but it's struggling to get past this 8. We'll need it to push through and actually hold for some time. This VWAP is trying to head toward the bullish territory, so that is good for us as that's making our momentum wave round up, so that could help push us higher. We'll have to see if those can cross into the bullish territory though, as if they get rejected, we could get pushed lower. If we come up to this resistance and get slammed back down, we could get sucked into the golden pocket and see it drop down. Over on the 1 hour, just remember we do have that 20k gap and that 35k gap. So if we don't push higher, we're likely going to fill that 20K gap, which you want to fill that 20K gap now before we make a new all-time high. RSI is overall pushing down lower. Our stochastic's kind of making a bearish divergence, pushing down, has a bearish cross, so we could see our RSI start to weaken. Our money flow is sort of bullish, but struggling to get some strong bullish momentum and keeps coming back down, so if we get rejected from here, we could see some bearish downside to start. Our VWAP is getting higher lows, so that wants to push above it, but our momentum is getting a red dot that could push us lower if our VWAP continues down. RSI is losing strength, our stochastic is pushing lower, our momentum is losing strength and starting to get a red dot. Our VWAP is in the bearish territory, and our money flow is in the bearish territory, struggling to make a crossover. So if we don't cross over with strength, we could see a push down. Over on the 4 hour, our RSI is trying to head up, our stochastic's heading down, money flows overall starting to lose a little bit of strength, our VWAP is in the bearish territory trying to round up, our momentum is falling down. So overall we're a little more bearish leaning. This could be a bearish triangle that could push us lower. Over on the 2 hour, our RSI is overall losing strength, our stochastic's pushing down, we want to make a bullish cross, but we are overall in the bearish territory. Our money flow is struggling to make a cross above this 19 and hold, so we could get suppressed here as we're starting to slip away. Our VWAP wants to push higher, so if our VWAP does manage to cross bullish, that could give our momentum a green dot and push us higher. Over on the 1 hour, our RSI is overall slipping away. Stochastic's starting to make a little bit of a cross. We could see a bullish dip if we make a cross. However, we could just get a little bit of a cool off and then come back up as well. So keep an eye on this. Our money flow overall is struggling to get past an 11, but we are maintaining bullish momentum that can keep us going. If this does slip into the bearish territory, then I would be a little more concerned. Our VWAP is in the bearish territory, so that is dragging our momentum down. Our momentum doesn't have much more room to fall, so it just has a red dot and it'll probably drag out here until we get a push up. Over on Anchor for the daily. Over on Anchor on the daily, we do still have this bit of a triangle. We could make a bit of an ascending triangle now that we are kind of pushing away from here and pushing down. Our stochastic is falling, our momentum is losing strength with a red dot, our VWAP is breaking into the bearish territory, our money flow is pushing higher, and our RSI is losing strength. Over on the 4 hour, we did come to the top of where we just fixed our pattern. We have a manipulation X that wants to push us lower. RSI overall is falling. Momentum is falling with a bearish divergence. We have a red dot on our momentum that is preceded by this VWAP falling. That VWAP does want to make a little bit of a recovery, but if we kind of get suppressed here, we could see some further downside on that. Over on the 2 hour here, our money flow overall is starting to round out, so we are starting to lose some bullish momentum and could see a bit of a drop down. RSI is overall losing some steam, and our stochastic is starting to fall. It does want to make a cross on this oversold area, but it could start to just waver and just stick around here for some time, as we've seen before, kind of like around here. Our momentum is coming down, but our VWAP wants to come up, so if our VWAP can cross bullish with some strength, our momentum might be able to push up, and then our money flow might round up, if I can get the words out today. Our RSI is overall starting to lose some strength. Our stochastic's pushing lower. We are about to get a bearish cross, so that could get a little bit of a push down. Our money flow is losing strength. We're very close to that neutral, so if we get suppressed here, we could break here. Our VWAP is struggling to get bullish momentum, so we're getting a red dot on our momentum wave. If that does not cross bullishly and hold, we could see a push down, and we could see this pattern play out. Over on XRP for the daily, we are trying to get a push up. Our stochastic is riding high. Our RSI is pushing high, but we do have a bearish divergence that wants to bring us down. Our momentum's starting to round off. Our VWAP is starting to push down. That VWAP does look like it has a possibility to curl up, so keep an eye out for that. Our money flow is starting to lose some strength, so I'd keep an eye on the next few candles. This is the golden pocket zone, so manipulation and crazy things tend to happen here. Watch our golden pocket Fibonacci video if you haven't already. Over on the 4-hour, we could have a bit of a symmetrical triangle here. That could be a bull pendant. That could push us higher toward this Fibonacci range, which would be pretty nice for any holders. RSI is overall starting to go flat. Momentum starting to curl down with a red dot. Stochastic is pushing down. VWAP is pushing in the bearish territory. Our money flow is pushing bullishly, so we do have higher money flow, but we look like we could get a bit of a cool off, so just be careful. It could be pretty close to a break up, break down. These are 50-50, so even though we have a bull pendant, it could still break down, so keep that in mind. Over on the 2-hour, stochastic is pushing down. RSI is starting to fall. Momentum's losing strength. Our money flow is struggling to get past that 17. So if that money flow doesn't get past the 17 and push up, we could see it fall down from here. Our VWAP is in the bearish territory, so if that starts to curl away, our momentum could start to get sucked out. Over on the 1-hour, our momentum is falling. We look like we could try to curl though, so keep an eye out for that. Our stochastic is falling pretty hard. Money flow's clinging on to bullish territory, so watch if it flips bearish and holds. Our VWAP is in the bearish territory, starting to fall away, so if we make a new low, that could bring everything else down with it. And finally, for algo, for the daily, we are trying to push toward our point of control, so if we don't break through this, we'll likely test toward our value area low. Our stochastic's trying to push higher, RSI is kind of flattening out, VWAP's struggling to go higher, money flow starting to come out, and that momentum's struggling to go up, as that VWAP's not really going anywhere. If the money flow keeps coming out, we could see everything else start to curl off here. Over on the 4-hour, you see we got rejected by the point of control, and we're starting to kind of fall away from it. Momentum's starting to round with the red dot. VWAP is in the bearish territory and pushing down. Money flow looks like it could start to reject away from here, so watch out for that. RSI is kind of flattening out, and our stochastic's losing some strength, so overall we look like we could get pushed down here. Over on the 2-hour, stochastic is falling, RSI is falling, momentum's starting to fall. Our money flow is struggling to maintain above this neutral, so if it breaks through this neutral and falls bearish, then we could see a downtrend. Our VWAP is in the bearish territory pushing down, so that could bring our momentum even further down, as it did already give it a red dot. And finally, on the 1-hour, we have two manipulation X's. Usually when you see the pairs, they want to play out. RSI is starting to fall, stochastic has a bearish divergence and is starting to fall, our momentum's starting to fall, and our VWAP is starting to push under that neutral zone, so our momentum could push even lower. Our money flow is struggling to maintain bullish territory. We are about above a 9, but if we don't get a push above this, we could see a round off and some lower price action. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a wonderful night.